Well, hello and welcome. My name is Velma. You can connect with me at velmanolds.com. This is all about your leadership chat. What does that mean? You get to listen in on valuable insights from valuable leaders just like you. I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe so that you never miss another episode. And if this is of value to you, please share the nuggets that you're going to take away from all these great leaders. Hey, please give a big welcome to my special guest and your valuable leader, Bernie Currie. Hey, Bernie, welcome to
Oh,
your leadership chat.
what a great opportunity it is to be here. And thank you so much, Velma, and your team for putting this together. It just really is a pleasure to be here today.
Oh, awesome. Well, I am so glad to have you here. So, for the listeners, tell them where you are calling in from.
So I live in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Yes, in the wintertime, it's always beautiful to be here.
Right, right.
Uh, I am a New England boy, so I don't mind the four seasons, but I've been in Florida much longer and I kind of
Okay.
enjoy the weather down here.
All right. Well, cool. So I know a little bit about you, enough to be dangerous. And I would love for you to kick us off and share a little bit about who you are and what you do right now with the audience.
Well, it's a great question. Let me just start by saying I am a husband and I've been married to my bride for now close to 40 years. We met together in California. I
Right.
mentioned earlier I'm from the New England area.
Right.
I'm also a father. I have three children and I have hard to believe, five grandchildren. I still can't believe that, ranging from ages 13 down to one coming up this
Oh,
month.
nice.
Um, the other thing is I'm a military veteran and I spent some time in the Air Force. I did not retire in the Air Force, but I've been a military advocate for a long time,
Yeah.
specific in the transition space to try to help those who are leaving the military to be able to land safely in civilian workplace. I have a son who's a combat veteran, two tours overseas during the 2000s.
Hmm.
And then also, I have a daughter who married a combat veteran as well. So the military kind of runs thick in our family.
Right.
I am an HR executive. I've been in the world of HR. It's hard to believe I backed into it over 20 years ago. Never on my wildest imagination did I ever think I'd get in the world of human resources, but I'm currently the director of human resources for a global organization called Building Industry Consulting Services International, BICSI for short.
Right.
And um, and then also, I'm a consummate volunteer. I just believe we live in the greatest country of the world. And so finding ways to find a need and fill that need is something that I'd love to do personally, as well as rallying the troops to try to surround that need. And then I'm the president elect for Suncoast HR, which is a Society for Human Resource Management chapter in Pinellas County. So we're having a great time in Pinellas County, really trying to make a difference in the business community. And I guess lastly, I'm the current chair for the employer support of the Guard and Reserve for Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas, which will soon, by the way, end at the end of this month because my focus is going to shift a little bit differently in 2025.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, let me say thank you to you and your family for your service. The whole family serves when you talk about anyone being uh, in or a part of the military. And so, just a heartfelt thank you for that because you're all serving for all of us. And folks on here that know me and that have listened and they know I'm not from the United States originally. I was born and raised in the islands of the Bahamas. Originally, we were under the British colony ruling, and so technically born a Brit. And then in the by law, when the country went independent, I became a Bahamian citizen, and then by choice, I became an American citizen. So I truly am thankful for your service and that
Thank
of your
you.
family. Yeah.
Thank you. It's an honor. I was, my mother actually signed my name when I raised my right hand. I was underage at the time. And I think that was very wise of her because I had no idea what I was going to do with my
Right,
life. And so
right.
it really gave me the structure that I needed to really set the tone of my future. So it's been I've been very fortunate.
Well, then you have solidified the fact that moms know best. That's
They
the end.
do. Yes, they
Moms
do.
know best. Well, that's wonderful, and thank you for that. And I do know of your heart to volunteer. I see you in the community. I hear and read about you. You're a huge advocate, not just in the HR, the human resources space, but also in the community for the good of the country. And so thank you for that. That's huge. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am so excited to hear. I know you said you may change things on me a little bit, but that's okay. This is so informal. Just supposed to be having a leadership chat. So that's what we're going
Yeah.
to do. And so you know that I shamefully promote my book, The Valuable Leader. And I do that because I truly believe that everyone has a valuable leader inside of them. And some people just need some help pulling that person out. And so I'd like to kick things off and ask you to share someone in your life. Tell us a story about someone in your life, Bernie, that you would say, Velma, if it was not for this person, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I call that person the valuable leader because they've made such a tremendous impact and
Mhm.
influence in someone's life. And so I'd love to know who that is for Bernie and if you would share it with us.
I sure would. I'd like to I'm going to take a little twist after I tell you this particular individual who's no longer with us. But I remember being in middle school,
Mhm.
and my PE coach was somebody that I found to be extremely instrumental. I'm a product of a divorced family. My dad was an alcoholic, and I was always looking for some leadership in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically having a passion for sports growing up. And so I played everything from hockey up north to baseball, basketball, football. Kind of
Yeah.
played most sports, if you will.
Mhm.
But I had an interest in soccer. And so I knew that my coach,
Right.
or at least the PE coach, Pat was known for his soccer team called the Mob or Mueller's Old Boys.
Okay.
He was from Germany,
Okay.
and he played as a backup for the Tampa Bay Rowdies back in the day. And so I remember playing for a team, and little did I know that he would scout different teams.
Okay.
And one particular day, I went up to him during after PE, I think it was in school, and I said, "Hey, I'd like to play for your team. I'd like to play for the Mob, right?" And he immediately told me, right as quick as I asked the question, "You're not good enough,
Whoa.
right?" He said, "You don't have the basic skill set that I need for a competitive team."
Mm.
And so he paused for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then he said, "But I tell you what, I'll give you 15 minutes at the end of summer,
Mm.
right? Just you and me, 15 minutes." Okay.
Okay.
Now, for me, I could have easily taken that as an opportunity to sulk, feel sorry for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not any good, given my history. I never thought it amount to be anything at all. But yet he instilled a little bit of hope
Mm.
and said, "Now, he didn't give me any instructions and tell me what to do. Nothing. He just said, I'll see you at the end of summer. Come see me and I'll give you 15 minutes." So in my young mind, I thought, all right, if I'm going to try out for 15 minutes, I better become better at soccer.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my ball. I went to the local schoolyard, and I would spend my mom and dad will tell you, I spent probably 3 to 4 hours a day in the off summer just kicking a ball and working on the fundamentals, trying to get better. I ran all the time, push ups, sit ups, did everything because I've got 15 minutes with this coach that I want to play for. He
Sure.
was known as, he and his teams were known as the top three competitors in the state of Florida in that age bracket, right? So, make a long story short, fast forward, to my 15 minutes of fame, if you will.
Right.
I completely changed his mind
Mm.
because not only did he put me on his team, he put me on the starting squad,
Oh,
right?
right.
So that was a life lesson that I learned at a very, very early age.
Yeah.
That even though life may present something that you don't like, you're going to
Mm.
go through a difficulty, no matter how difficult it may be or the challenge it may be. It doesn't define you as a person, and how we react to that situation is solely up to us.
Mhm.
And so I was fortunate in that particular case. We ended up going to state competition, and that's a whole nother story because we ended up losing in the finals. But we since well, I'll just leave that. I'll leave the results of that.
But
We
it was
lost at
not
the end of
because,
the day.
yeah, it was
We
not because of
lost. It
you.
was in the rain and all of that, but there was some
Yeah.
dynamics around that, and I've just never pled the victim. So it is
Right.
what it is, and I had a tremendous opportunity. I ended up playing for him until I ended up breaking my leg during a soccer game.
Wow. What was his name?
Norbert Mueller
Mueller,
is
right.
his, yeah,
Coach Mueller. Okay.
coach, yeah, Norbert Mueller, who has since passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Interesting that you kind of dug deep for someone that's, a valuable leader that made such an impression of having your mindset be one of you're not the victim, right?
Yeah.
And that I wrote down uh, that leadership is a choice. Because that's what
Mm.
I heard you say. That's what
Yeah.
I took. I was like, like you said it in other words, but I took away the fact that you had a choice and you said, I got 15 minutes and I'm going to make the choice to get ready for those 15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go out and do the best I can and I'm going to make a choice that my my generational sins of, my father or anyone else doesn't define who I am. I get to
Right.
choose that. Um,
Yeah.
and I love that about what you're saying because it's so true and you and I are kindred spirits there.
Mm. Yeah. Well,
Right.
here's where I'd like to take a twist.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I'm cool
So
with this. Let's
if
go.
you'll
Yeah,
allow me,
let's go.
I'd like to take a twist, and I'd like
Yeah.
to say, because I think the question was, who is an invaluable leader in your life, right? And my twist is the voice or opinion that we haven't heard yet. Okay,
Mm,
it's not a person.
right.
It's a person who's going to say something, who has a voice, wants to be heard, or an opinion. But
Right.
I would argue when it comes to leadership,
Yeah.
we have to be willing to listen to that difficult voice or that contrary voice or opinion. The reality of it is there's many voices that want to be heard from today, right? They want to be understood, but the problem is we're not listening.
Hmm.
We don't take the time to intentionally listen to people.
Right.
We don't go out of our way. We tend to stay within our own comfort zone. Our social media tends to be the people that we like
Yeah.
and who like us, right? We don't tend to surround ourselves with a contrarian opinion. A couple other things is, maybe it's the voice of reason or the voice of faith. It could be the voice of uncertainty. We're living in uncertain times now that people are trying to navigate through, with especially a younger workforce. Maybe it's the voice of despair.
Mm.
We see people going through difficult situations, but do we really roll our sleeves up and want to listen to their situation and help them? Um, and then here's the one that we're all about at Suncoast HR. It's the voice of uncomfortability.
Wow.
Having those difficult
Yeah.
conversations
Right.
about uncomfortable things so that we can learn and become sharper and become better.
Mm.
So I believe that if we allow ourselves the opportunity to listen, that incredible things can happen. And let me just give you a very simple example and cut me off at any point.
No, I
But
can't wait because you have no idea how you are setting this up.
yeah, yeah. So one simple example is now grandchildren or children, right?
Mhm. Right.
So generally speaking, children don't have any biases, right? They don't have a difference of opinion unless it's a 2 year old fighting over a toy, right?
Right. Right.
Generally speaking, there's no strong differences of opinions. There's no past experiences to glean from or to be tainted by, right? Yet there's a willingness to have a conversation or a willingness to play together,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
With excitement,
Hmm.
right? And so, if we need to beware that if we don't listen, and if we're not intentional about what we're trying to listen to, those voices will get louder and louder and louder to where we'll be forced to listen to those voices and opinions. And so, as a seasoned HR professional who tries to stay as relevant as possible in the younger workforce that I'm surrounded by,
Yeah.
is I want to step aside, listen to those that are coming up with me, and really champion them so that they can become all that they want to be.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I'm smiling ear to ear and trying to just hold it back in like like I would hold down my apple pie first thing in the morning. But the
Mm,
thing is, the first step in becoming a valuable leader is to listen
mm,
and learn to listen well. In fact, the whole chapter is about how do you listen well? And there's two sides to that. How do you listen to the voices of others, the
mm,
ideas, the opinions, the thoughts of others? And the second side is how do you listen to yourself? Because sometimes
mm,
we don't even take time to listen to our own self. We have the social pressures of the world is having a voice louder and it's drowning out, and we outsource our own voice, and so we don't hear our truth and where we want to go. So I love that. I was holding it back because
mm.
I do believe that valuable leaders will show up in ways that you might not expect. And that could be just like you described, the voices of today's generation and tomorrow, right? And there's
Yeah.
three things everyone wants. Everyone. It doesn't matter what department you're in, what company you work for, what industry. People want to be seen, they want to be heard, and they want to be valued. And if we
Mm.
could get those three things
That's
right,
good.
um, and realize that we are all there to do a job. We just have different roles. And if we could focus on the main mission and everybody's in different roles to get there, then I think you'll see tremendous results. You'll see high retention, engagement, all the things that we're struggling with in today's world, and we're wondering why is this
Mhm.
happening, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's interesting you say that because I think that I learned a long time ago, in some of the books that I've read, that one of the best ways to strike up a conversation, no, one of the best ways to strengthen relationships is to stop talking about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's
Right.
talk about the other person. Where did you go to college? What made you decide to go to college? How did you find yourself in the career that you're in today? Right? How did you get to move to Florida? You
Yeah.
know, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years? Right? What can I do in order to help facilitate that or come alongside you and champion that for you? Right? And what's funny, I've actually experimented with this where I'll go into a conversation, talk about how special I am, right? Oh, I've won this. Oh, I've done this. Oh, I did this. Oh, this, on and on. And you can see it in the countenance of their face. Nobody wants to hear anything about you.
No.
But if you sit there and say, wow, you know, I've heard a little bit about you. You're all over LinkedIn. It's
Yeah.
amazing. How did you get to have the platform that you have today?
Right.
Right? What are
Right.
the things that are keeping you up at night that bother you?
Yeah, I love that. And you're leading into my second question, because my second question is, what it takes to be a valuable leader. I mean, you've had the coach in your life, and I'm sure there's so many others, and we talked about those that have voices that we haven't even heard yet. But how would Bernie say that you are? I do want you to tell us how you are paying it forward. How are you helping other people uncover their value as a leader?
Well, the first thing for me is I got to know me.
Yeah.
I got to know what my interests are. I got to know what excites me when I get up in the morning. What's
Hmm.
going to make me go do something, let's say outside of my work schedule,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Second thing is really you got to listen to people to find out what the need is.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to ask the question because they're going to tell you what the need is.
Yeah.
So we have to be, it's very similar to being in an elevator. You only have 10 floors to get to
Right.
know somebody, right?
Right.
So find out what the need is and see if they want your help. Remember, we're not the only person with an answer.
Mm. Yeah.
There's always a smarter person in the room than me.
Yeah.
So I got to be willing to listen to them. And then, I hear my mother saying this, be grateful to serve because it truly is a gift
It
to be
is.
able to do that in living in the greatest country of the world.
Oh man. Wow. That's what's some great nuggets. I feel like there is, a bullet list that needs to be
Mm,
posted from this that
mm,
we keep in the forefront to know how we can instill in others the desire to look for their value and to realize
mm,
that you are more uh more I always like to say you're more valuable than you think and you're more capable than you believe. And so what would be one big takeaway that Bernie would say, if you could give anything to the listeners today, what would you tell them about how they could be valuable leaders in their own lives?
Well, the first thing I would say is to remember that we have more in common together than we do individually.
Mm.
We live in a very self-centered world,
Mm.
and ideas are wonderful. They're flying all over the place. There's
Yeah,
some great innovation,
right.
right? I heard the 11th, someone said years ago, the 11th commandment is thou shalt not lie to thyself, right?
I gotta
So,
write that down.
right? So at the end of the day, you're the one who takes the shower and looks at yourself every time. You're the one who has those conversations with yourself as to what inspires you, what
Right.
encourages you to do something, what's going to motivate you to get off the couch and go do something and make a difference in somebody else's life. And I would argue
Mhm.
that you can't help others if you don't know if you won't help yourself.
Absolutely. Can't
We
give
learned
what you
about
don't
that
have.
lesson. No, you can't give what you don't have. So
Yeah.
I think it's I'm of the old school opinion that it does take a village.
Yeah.
I believe in creativity and innovation, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to love the idea and want to come alongside it and really pay for it or
Right.
support it. And so be thinking about what you would want to do to make a difference in your area of life.
Yeah.
And really, if you just inspire you, you will inspire other people, and
Absolutely.
there'll never be a boring moment in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it'll be contagious for sure in a good
Yeah,
way,
in a
right?
good way.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. That's such great advice. The 11th commandment, thou shalt not lie to yourself. I
to
love
yourself.
that. So now I'd love to give you the opportunity to share with listeners how they could connect with you or learn more about the work and the volunteerism and other things that you're involved in, or just how could they learn more from you as well by following you and just supporting you in your mission. Would you
Yeah,
share
well, I would be glad to. There's a lot of social media out there, and I really restrict myself to LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah.
I have a very strong LinkedIn presence, and so to me, if you want to get a hold of me through LinkedIn, I give my cell phone out to everybody. It
I
doesn't matter
know.
who.
I
So
know.
I have no problem saying it's 813 624 9681. That's 813 624 9681. Somebody can text me or they can call me. And no, it's not an automation. It's actually my cell phone number. It's my personal cell phone number because I just want to be able to be available to people who are going through an interesting situation, right? And
Yeah.
then obviously suncoasthr.org is our website for the HR community. We do local events all the time, and we do monthly meetings. We'd love to have people attend our meeting as a guest. So if anybody has any interest in doing that, and again, my email you can find through my LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Okay, so we will use the LinkedIn as the main source for them to find. And I can just attest to the fact that if you go to LinkedIn, folks, and you just put Bernie Currie in the search, he is going to come up and you're going to find him. But we'll have your LinkedIn address there so that they can just link over to you.
Thank you. And to your listeners, thank you for joining today. We really appreciate you taking the time to
Yeah.
listen in. And if there's anything we can do, obviously, to improve what we do, we'd love to do that. And your voice and opinion does matter. So thank you so much, Velma, for the opportunity to be here today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you, Bernie. Hey, thanks so much for watching another episode of Your Leadership Chat. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button here and tap that bell icon so that you never miss another episode. I hope too that you'll give us a thumbs up on the video for a like. And then if you feel led, please share the video with those who need to see it. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Your Leadership Chat. Bye for now.